Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Gen Con gave us a lot of information about upcoming content. But of course, the big one that everybody cares about is the Kineticist, which of course is in playtest right now. So that's today's teamwork build. Don't worry, the Thaumaturge and the Psychic teamwork builds are coming. But come on, this is so big that I gotta do the playtest build first. So let's get right into it. You ever want to play an Earthbender from Avatar: The Last Airbender? Well, that's what we're building today. And of course, what better race for an Earthbender than the Dwarf? And I know this is pretty on the nose, but we're going to take Rock Dwarf. Earthbenders are pretty well locked to the ground. It's hard to trip them or even shove them. And we certainly don't want to get knocked prone with this build. For our background, I know this sounds weird, but we're going to be taking the Acrobat background. Steady balance will help us stay on our feet when we're not on actual Earth. And for our Kineticist subclass, we want to specialize in Earth, so we're going to go with Dedicated Gate Earth. This will give us 3 Earth Impulse feats in addition to our first level class feats. For our first Impulse feat, we're going to go with Geological Attunement. We gain imprecise tremor sense within the kinetic aura generated by this feat. In addition, earth and stone within our aura become difficult terrain. However, if we move, both of those effects are suppressed until the end of our turn. Also, at 13th level, the tremor sense becomes precise. Then we'll take Stone Shields. This allows us to create and raise a shield out of earth for 1 action. The shield gives a +2 bonus on fortitude saves and DCs as well as AC, at least until the start of our next turn. What makes this feat so good is we can still use the gathered element for anything requiring it. In addition, we can use the shield block reaction with this shield. The shield has a hardness of 6, but this increases by 3 for every 2 Kineticist levels after first. However, after you shield block with it, you lose the benefits of this feat as well as the gathered element. Then we'll take Tremor. This allows us to create a 5-foot burst tremor within 30 feet. Creatures in that area take 2d4 bludgeoning damage, with a basic fortitude save against our class DC. Also, any creature in this area that critically fails their saving throw is knocked prone. Also, ground in the area is difficult terrain until the start of your next turn. The damage from this feat increases by 1d4 for every 2 Kineticist levels after first. And finally, our starting stats for this build should be Strength 16, Dexterity 12, Constitution 16, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 12, and Charisma 12. Before we get into feats, I do want to talk about something important. I know I said we were building an earthbender here, and although we are going to have plenty of earthbending abilities, in order to get the most out of this build, Monk is not going to help us. As an earthbender, we're all about defense. So our free archetype is going to sound a little bit weird, but it's the best way to build an earthbender. And of course, at level 1, we get a class feat and ancestry feats. Our first class feat is going to be Flexible Blasts. This will allow us to give our ranged elemental blast the brutal traits, so we can use our strength instead of our dexterity to hit. That's going to help a lot when we need to throw rock at enemy instead of hit enemy with rock. Then for our first level ancestry feat, we're going Rock Runner. We're not going to be great at acrobatics for this build, but at least having the chance to move across uneven rock surfaces might help us get to our party and defend them. For level 2 class feats, we're going to start with Kinetic Activation. This will let us use earth-based magic items. There really isn't a second level Kineticist feat that's going to help us with this build at this level, so we're just going to take this. Then, for our first dedication, we're going to take the Medic Dedication. I know this seems weird, but we can't really take the dedications that we want for this build yet. So we're taking this so that we can heal our friends in combat. For our third level general feat, we'll take Toughness. Come on, Kineticist is con-based for right now. Hit points equal to our level is going to go a long way, especially since our dex is going to be so low. Plus, we're going to have low AC, at least in the beginning. So extra hit points are going to help us with our defense. At 4th level, restoring mud will help us heal allies at range. For 2 actions, we can throw some mud at a target within 30 feet. The target regains 2d6 hit points and 2 temporary hit points. The healing increases by 1d6 and the temporary hit points increase by 2 for every 2 levels beyond 4th. Then on the free archetype side, we'll take Doctor's Visitation. This will allow us to stride and do battle medicine for 1 action, which is going to be extremely helpful for this build. Also at this level, we'll need to take the Treat Condition skill feat. With this, for 2 actions, we can reduce or even eliminate the clumsy, enfeebled, or sickened conditions. Not only does this give us our 3rd medic feat, but these conditions can be very debilitating. Sickened especially. Clumsy and enfeebled really depends on what type of character they're on though. But either way, getting rid of or reducing these conditions is going to be helpful. Then at level 5, of course, we get our ability score increases and ancestry feats. For our ability score increases at this level, we want to increase our strength, con, wisdom, and charisma. And for our ancestry feat, we're going to pick up boulder roll. For 2 actions, we can step into a foe's space and force them to move into the space directly behind them. They can block our step by making a fortitude save against our athletics DC. However, if they choose to do this, then unless they critically succeed, they're taking damage equal to our level plus our strength modifier. This is a great way to push enemies into hazards or away from squishy spellcasters. At level 6, Rolling Boulder is going to combo extremely well with another Kineticist feat we're going to take later. Using our Gathered Earth, we create a boulder that travels in a 30-foot line. This forces each creature in the line to make a reflex save against 2d8 bludgeoning damage. This uses our class DC. On a successful saving throw, the target takes half damage. On a failed saving throw, the creature takes full damage and is forced into an empty space that is not in the path of the boulder. If the creature doesn't have a space to move into, it's knocked prone instead. On a critical failure, the target takes double damage and all the other effects of failing the saving throw. Then on the free archetype side, we'll want to take the Sentinel dedication. I told you this build was a little weird, but this really is the best way to get the most defense out of this build. We are eventually going to be master in light armor, and this will give us master in medium and heavy armor eventually. Also, at this level or the next time we get a skill feat, we'll want to take the Steel Skin skill feat. This will allow us to eventually rest in our heavy armor. So we'll always be ready to fight, because we don't need a weapon with this build. 7th, we get a general feat, and we're going to go with Shield Block. Yes, we do have our Earth shields. However, that breaks after 1 use of Shield Block. So we want to use a regular shield for this build, and use the Earth shield as backup, if we need it. We need Shield Block so we can use that shield to its fullest potential. For our first class feat at level 8, we'll take Spike Skin. For 2 actions, we can touch a willing creature. The target gains resistance 4 to physical damage. Well, except adamantine. Also, every time the target is hit by an adjacent creature, that creature takes 2 points of piercing damage. This lasts for 10 minutes, but each time the target is hit by a bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage attack, the duration is decreased by 1 minute. After using, the target is immune to this feat for 1 hour. Using this feat again ends any previous usage of this feat. The resistance and damage increases by 2 for every 2 levels beyond 8th. And on the free archetype side, we need a 3rd Sentinel feat so we can take our last dedication. So we're going to take Armor Specialist. This will give us the armor specialization effects of any armor that we're wearing. At 9th, we get our Ancestry feat, and we're going to go with Mountain Stoutness. This is the same thing as Toughness and stacks with Toughness. So now we have even more hit points. Yay! At 10th, we get our ability score increases and 2 class feats. For our ability score increases, you want to increase your strength, con, and wisdom. I know that's only 3 ability boosts, You can pretty well pick what you want for the last ability boost at this level. I picked Charisma so we could better intimidate people, but you could pick just about anything here as your fourth. And our first class feat at this level is going to be Chain Blasts. Now for 2 actions, we can make up to 5 elemental blasts as long as we keep hitting and we target different creatures. These all use the same multiple attack penalty as the first blast. Each blast counts towards our multiple attack penalty, but we do not increase our multiple attack penalty until after we've made all of our elemental blasts. Because sometimes we do need to do a bunch of damage. Then we'll need to take our third dedication, the Champion dedication. And our cause doesn't really matter here as long as it's a good champion. So Paladin, Redeemer, or Liberator. Doesn't matter which one. For our first teamwork report, at low levels, we want to focus on our ranged elemental blasts, as at that point, we're not going to have a huge AC, since our dex is so low. We can go into melee if we really want to, since we're going to have good HP. However, if we do, we're going to get hit a lot. But once we're able to take that Sentinel dedication, then we can go into melee. And then start hitting people with rocks in melee instead of throwing rocks at people. This is another reason why we need the Medic dedication. At least in the beginning, we're going to be back behind with the spellcasters. So we might as well be able to heal them too. And remember, Spike Skin we can use on anyone. A full champion is definitely going to appreciate the damage resistance. The extra damage is just icing on the cake. And Rolling Boulder is going to be especially good when enemies are stuck in a hallway. Plus, if you use it right, you could force an enemy right into melee range with the fighter. Overall, pretty simple strategy. Okay, let's continue with this belt. So at level 11, we get a general feat. And we're going to go with Die Hard for more survivability. Then at 12th, our first feat is going to be Rock Ramparts. For 2 actions, we can create a wall of stone and earth. This functions as a wall of stone, but the maximum length of the wall is 60 feet. You can sustain the wall for up to 1 minute. For every 2 levels beyond 12th, the wall's length increases by 10 feet, and the hit points of each section increase by 10. Any wall spell has huge applications on the battlefield. Trap your enemies with melee fighters, or with sustained effects. Defend yourselves from enemies with the wall. Don't have a hallway to force enemies prone with Rolling Boulder? Make one! Then on our free archetype side, we'll take, from Knights of Last Wall, Devoted Guardian. If our last action was to raise a shield, we can spend 1 action to target an adjacent creature. As long as that creature is adjacent to us and we have our shield raised, that creature gets a +1 bonus to AC. For our level 13 Ancestry feat, we're going to take Telluric Power. When we make a melee strike against a target that is on the same earth or stone surface as us, we gain a bonus to damage equal to the number of weapon damage dice. Yes, this is just more damage. However, we don't really have a good teamwork ancestry feat to take here, so we're just going to take this. At 14th, we get 2 more class feats. And we're going to go with, for our first one, Stone Guardian. For 2 actions, we can essentially summon a medium-sized stone golem. The golem appears in any empty space within 30 feet. It has an AC of 30 and 120 hit points. It is also immune to critical hits and precision damage. The golem uses your saving throw modifiers, but automatically fails any reflex saving throw. You can sustain the golem up to 1 minute. Each time you sustain the guardian, it can make 1 fist attack against an enemy of your choice. It has a 10-foot reach, an attack modifier of +25, and deals 3d8 plus 10 damage on a hit. Also, if the golem happens to critically hit, the foe is knocked prone. Its attack bonus and damage can't be altered by other abilities. And finally, allies within the golem's reach have cover. However, this cover cannot be used to hide. For every level beyond 14th, the golem's AC, attack modifiers, and damage increase by 1, and its hit points increase by 10. On the free archetype side, we'll pick up Arch Champion's reaction. All the reactions of the good aligned champions can reduce damage, and that's what we're looking for here. At level 15, we get more ability score increases and a general feat. It's just like last time. We want to increase our strength, con, and wisdom, and then it doesn't matter for our fourth. Just like last time, I did end up picking Charisma for Intimidation. For our general feat, we're going to pick up Canny Acumen for our will saves. We got Expert in will saves pretty early, that's why we didn't take this until now. But in a couple levels, we're going to get to the point where this feat will make us a master. And then I'll put us on par with the rest of our saving throws. At level 16, our first class feat is going to be Effortless Impulse. We have quite a few impulse feats that are going to need to be sustained, and this will let us do it for a free action. Then we'll pick up Divine Ally for Shield Ally. We need this for our last 2 free archetype feats, and this just makes us better with the shield. At 17th, we get an Ancestry feat, and we're going to go with Stone Bones. By this point, we've got high AC and HP. However, getting crit is never fun, especially when we're on low hit points. So this will give us a small chance to treat a crit as a regular hit. First class feat at level 18 is going to be the Shattered Mountain Weeps. For 3 actions, we can create a 20-foot burst area within 120 feet of falling rock and deadly shrapnel. Creatures in this area take 9d10 bludgeoning damage, with a basic fortitude save against our class DC. Those who fail their save are knocked prone. For the next minute, that area is difficult terrain, and any creature ending its turn in the area takes 2d10 bludgeoning damage. If you use this ability again, any previous area ends. And at 20th level, the initial and area damage both increase by 1d10. And then on the free archetype side, we'll take Quick Shield Block. Extra reaction just for Shield Block. For our general feat at 19th level, you can pretty much pick what you want. I chose Untrained Improvisation again to help us with our skills. But you can pretty much go with anything you want here. For our ability score increases at level 20, you can pretty well pick any ability boosts that you want. We've already maxed out the 3 ability boosts that we need for this build, so you're going to get at least 1 ability boost that doesn't really do anything, but pick what you want. As for our feats, we're going to start with Omnikinesis. This will give us much more versatility with our elemental flexibility. We can now replace one of our feats that we gained from elemental flexibility with another eligible feat for 1 action. Then on the free archetype side, we're going to go with Shield Warden. This is just another way for us to protect our allies, as we can now use Shield Block on an adjacent ally instead of just ourselves. For team report number 2, now we definitely want to be in melee so we can take advantage of our armor. Another good combo for this build is Rock Rampart and the Shattered Mountain Weeps. Imagine trapping enemies behind a stone wall and then dropping that on them. Also, our Stone Guardian does a lot of things for us. It makes our allies hard to hit. It also does what any summon does, gives enemies something else to worry about. In addition, it can knock enemies prone if it crits. That means flat-footed to everyone. Also, you guys can tell me if I'm reading this wrong, but since its attack bonus and damage can't be altered by other abilities, pretty sure that means it doesn't take penalties to its attack roll or damage. Which means if enemies try that against your golem, they're just wasting actions. And of course, we still want to use a regular shield and use our stone shield as a backup. But pretty sure you can use the champion's shield feats with that stone shield as well. But if you need a whole bunch of damage reduction because an enemy is doing ridiculous damage to you, that stone shield is going to come in handy. And that's going to wrap up this video. I know I probably made some mistakes with the Kineticist in this video, so let me know in the comments if I did. And until next time, remember, teamwork is vital.